It's been a long camp, but looking forward to kicking this thing off. Excited about the opportunity to play West Virginia. It's been a while. This will be my 20th time being involved in this game. A lot of great memories, some big football games, some important football games. Got a lot of these programs parallel each other in a lot of ways as far as the blue collar mentality, the toughness of the kids. Got a lot of respect for this program and who we're about to play, but I'm excited that this rivalry is kicking back off again. I know we're planning on playing down the road, but we're excited to get started and kind of see where we are in this version of 2017 Virginia Tech football as well. So there's a lot of good memories and a lot of tough losses. As I said, we've had some great wins in this series. We've had some really disappointments as well, but obviously some of the fond memories are the first time we beat them on a goal line stand with Major Harris. I can't remember how long ago that was, but that was a big win for our program as we were in the early Beamer era. And then obviously we had a big win up there at Morgantown that kind of catapulted us to the national championship. But there's a lot of other games. We had some tough losses here at home. We've had some dynamic wins up there. But just I know this, you go back to the history, there's been a couple games here or there that were lopsided, but you go back to those scores, there's a lot of low-scoring, tight football games, and I think that is a rivalry. I think the last 33 times we played, they've won 17, we've won 16. And that is a rivalry when you got both teams are competing and having a chance to win, and that's what these games have been. So
those were pretty heated.
There's a line drawn in the sand, so to speak, or in the dirt, when it comes to playing these guys. As far as particularly from the fan base, I think they're probably because of the histories of the program, they might have a little bit more knowledge and awareness of the players. So I know where I live, I'm surrounded by Mountaineers, and I know this. I don't want to be. They'll be blue and gold flying for a year, or more, depending on the outcome of that game. Or I'll fly my flag pretty proudly, But there's an excitement about this game. And basically myself, Charlie's involved in a few of them, and Ryan Schumann spoke as from a playing standpoint. But yeah, this has been I just wanted the kids to understand this is a true rivalry. There is an expectation of how to play the game when these two teams play, as far as a tough, hard-nosed, physical football game, and and I don't expect it to be any different this year. Well, I don't know if I can point to that, because I think prior to that, Virginia Tech and West Virginia had played for a long time prior to that, so I think the rivalry was already established. But I think West Virginia was at a point in their program where they were, I think, at a level above where we aspired to be, and I think so. That was, I'm just talking everything from their stadium to their facilities to where they were in the rankings and those type of things. And if we wanted to get to that point, we needed to beat somebody like that. And so yeah, that was a big game in us taking that next step, or towards that next step of where we wanted to go as a program. The thing that we've got to see, I think they're down a little bit as far as receivers go, and that's maybe where you're going to see a lot more running backs. And what role will those running backs play? Will they be in what we call 20 personnel, where there's going to be 2 backs and no tight end? But with that, will they be into 4 wide receivers, and then will they bring them in motion and run, those kind of things? And those are all things that our offense does. They're all things that we prepared for and we've seen. And it's just we've got to see what their plan of attack is going to be and how they're going to use those guys. But generally speaking, when you got that many backs, you can't play them all at one time. And so I'm sure they're going to get their touches and probably go with the guy that's hot if their one gets that way. that's part of it. But my thought of, if they're going to play a lot of backs, it might be because they're short in receivers and because they're not a multiple back team. They're a one back offense, and you know, they will get in occasionally. They'll get into some multiple backs, but you know, if they do, we've got a plan for that. No, I mean, you know, I just think they do a great job in game planning and seeing what the defense will give them and then taking advantage of it. I mean, obviously he's got a dynamic skill set. You're not at this level as an athlete if you're not gifted and in some form or fashion. And you know, but I also think part of what makes West Virginia good is Dana and Jake Spavital. They're going to do the same. They're going to like our offense. And today's offense is by spreading you out. They're going to take what you give them and then try to, you know, create big plays. That's got to be our, you know, what we can't do is, as we've always been that way, is just limit their explosive plays and you know, from this standpoint. We're very excited about, you know, opening up. I mean, that's the unique thing about college football. We do scrimmage, but we scrimmage each other. There's no preseason game. We don't get to scrimmage another high school, so to speak, like, you know, high school programs do. So there's a lot of question marks, and I'm anxious to get started. You know, in our scheme, defensively, and our personnel. We have some experience back, but we also have some guys that are stepping up into roles that maybe last year they were, you know, backups and played a big part in what we did last year, but maybe not as big a part and have as big a role as what they will have this year. And that's always going to be interesting to see how they handle that. And particularly early in this game, there's going to be a lot of excitement. You know, we need to take a deep breath and you know, just get down and play in the game. And, you know, sometimes that excitement and anticipation can wear you out a little bit early, and we've got to be able to respond to that. But I'm excited to get started. I'm excited about playing a big-time opponent in West Virginia, and that's going to be going to be a great measuring stick for us to see where we are, you know, particularly in the first game of the season, to see where we are and then what we need to do to continue to get better. Well, thankfully, I still have emotions this many years in it, you know, and that's why I'm still in it. But no, I mean, yeah, the hair stands up on the back of my neck, and you know, there's that excitement. You know, there's also, you don't know for sure what you're going to see the first snap, or there's a lot of things going on. But from an emotional standpoint, yeah, I mean, you're just you're in it for the kids. We live vicariously as coaches through these guys, and you know, I'm really excited for them. You know, I'd like to think they're part of they're an extension of us too, and so, you know, I'm just hoping we will play with a controlled recklessness, with a lot of emotion, a lot of enthusiasm, and an unmatched effort, and we'll go execute. And that's kind of my thoughts prior to that game, is in those 15 seconds. That's what we'll do. We went back and looked at some Florida film. We saw a little bit of the spring game, what we could see. You know, he's a talented guy. I mean, you're not a quarterback at this level. I mean, talking at, you know, University of Florida and then now here at West Virginia, if you're not a quality athlete, a quality competitor. And he's got a live arm. He's consistent. You know, he's had enough practice time, I think, to knock the rust off. But then, you know, there's a difference in practicing and you know, then all of a sudden playing in front of 90,000 people. So, but what I've seen is you know, an outstanding football player and a tremendous competitor and a guy that's got a lot of skills and you know, just a quality football player. I mean, Brandon Adonis is #1 right now. Adonis is probably #1 on both sides. You know, he's had a great camp. He's had a great summer. You know, Brandon has practiced, and we fully expect him ready to go. But I just think just where Adonis is, it's not so much where Brandon is, it's where Adonis is and what he's done. And but I still feel like we got really 3 good corners and quality corners, and we have 3 starters back there in my eyes. I tell you what a with this game and having like I said, the utmost respect for this program. A lot of it goes back to our days playing with against Coach Nailon and his staff. They're very, in my opinion, couldn't be two better gentlemen to be the captains, as far as obviously Coach Beamer for us and what he's done for this program and what he's meant for Virginia Tech, and same with Coach Nailon. I mean, what he meant to West Virginia, what he meant to their program, what he meant to the state of West Virginia, and how he conducted himself and their program so professional, and just like I said, it couldn't be two better gentlemen, and coaches, but more importantly, better gentlemen that are honorary captains, I guess, of this game. It comes back down to us executing. When it's all said and done. I know the Southern Cal game could have gone either way. They went on to win a national championship. A dynamic football team, maybe one of the best we ever played, but we had a chance to win that football game. Same with Boise, was a top 5 ranked team. We had a lot of question marks that year. We ended up losing to JMU the next week, but then reeled off 10 straight wins. But we spotted those guys. We just didn't execute some things early, not just on defense. It was on the offensive side, turned it over. In kicking game, we had a block kick. The Cincinnati game, that was a tough loss because we gave up a play at the very end, but it was a play the week before, the exact same play that we got a pick from, that we didn't execute. And it has nothing to do with the stadium. It has something to do with how we perform and how we play. And those first 2 games were the first games of the year, if I'm not mistaken. And so those were some really tight ball games against some great opponents. And if we execute just a little bit better, we got a chance to win both those games. And that's but in both of those years, I will say that we went on and won the ACC. And so, it was a great measuring stick for us, and we had a chance to win both those games against, quality people.
Hokies!